All right, let's dive into the script. Now, before we actually get to the first thing that you're going to say, I need to talk to you about the purpose for your call or visit and getting yourself into the right mindset because really I believe that just as important as what you say, whether you're on the phone or in person, it is equally important how you feel, your attitude, your objective, how you come across, your kind of state that you're in when you're talking to a potential customer. And so in this video, I want to talk to you about a couple of key components to getting yourself in the right mindset. All right. The first thing you have to get in the right mindset for is you have to get in the right mindset for being able to walk into the business or to be able to pick up the phone. Now, the mindset I always try to get myself into is I try to get myself into the mindset of a customer. So, for instance, if I'm walking into a business, and again, this is one of those practical tips I talked about in the last video that people just don't really talk to you about. It is actually really hard to get out of your car and then go walk into a business where you don't know anybody and you're going to try to sell them something. It really is difficult. I mean, emotionally, it is challenging. I can't tell you how many times I've sat in my own car for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 minutes, right? Listening to something on the radio, or as soon as I get done with this song, I'll walk in, and it is challenging to get yourself in the right mindset. And one of the keys that I found that works really well for me is I get myself in this mindset of a customer. So I look at the business and I'm like, okay, this is like a hardware store. Okay. So I'm going to go walk into the hardware store like I'm a customer. I'm going to maybe walk in. There's probably going to be somebody at the counter anyway. Maybe I'll look around a little bit, but I'm walking in like a customer, And if I'm in one of those moods where I know it's going to be tough for me to go prospecting today, that really helps me because I know if I go in and I chicken out, I can always just say I was just looking and I can walk out. Like I can, I have an out if I need one, which you might think, well, that sounds terrible. That's a negative. Well, yeah, but you kind of need that sometimes just to get yourself, get your butt moving and get yourself into the business, right? But I want to get myself in the mindset of a customer also for another important reason, because especially on the phone, this is the case. When you're calling a business, you do not want to sound like a salesperson. And the difference is actually fairly obvious. You'd really be surprised when you hear a call. If I call a business as a customer, I'm going to sound very relaxed. I'm not nervous. Like as a customer, if I'm calling to find out what their hours of operation are, for instance, that doesn't make me nervous. I'm not like sweating. I'm not like, hey, my name is Bill. And the reason I'm calling is I wanted to see what your hours of operation are for today. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't sound normal, right? I mean, you would never do that. That's not how you would sound if you want to find out the hours. You'd call and be like, hey, how's it going? Oh, good. Yeah. Hey, what are your hours today? Do you see how different that sounds? It's the same thing and it's a lot of the same words, but it just sounds totally different because of the mindset that I'm in. And so in that same way, you want to get yourself in the mindset of a customer. How would a customer act? How would a customer sound? Because business owners love customers. They generally don't like salespeople, but they love customers. So if you can get yourself in that mindset, whether it's on the phone or in person, you're going to be in a better frame of mind. Okay. Number 2, we need to establish our excuse. Okay, our excuse. You say, why do we need an excuse? We always want to have an excuse or a reason why we're calling or why we're stopping by. Now, I cover that in detail in the script, which we're going to get into, but especially when you're walking into the business, it's really beneficial to have a great excuse, even to give right off the bat. Over the phone, not so much. We'll talk about that in a minute. But when you're first walking in, I like to walk in and say something like, hey, how's it going? I've never even been in here before, and I was driving by to go down and see one of my clients, Susan, over at XYZ Company, and I thought I'd just swing by and say hello. I need an excuse. I need a reason. I don't want to be like, the reason I stopped by is to sell you something. The reason I stopped by is I've never been in here before. I wanted to stop in and see how everything is going, kind of introduce myself, give you my card. So I need an excuse. I need an excuse for why I've interrupted their day, why I'm coming into their business. And so I really want to have those two things kind of happening in my brain at the same time. I'm a customer as far as how I act, my behavior, my mindset. That's why when I walk in and it's like there's a line of people at the counter, that doesn't make me nervous. I'm just a customer. I might look around a little bit. If there's still a line, I might get in line, but I'm just a customer. That's it, right? When I call on the phone, I want to sound like a customer. I don't want to sound like a salesperson. So if we can get ourselves in that frame of mind, we're going to do a lot better with that first 5 seconds, which we're going to cover in the next video.